This was one of the most remarkable pieces of comic book art I've ever seen at that time.
Hi there. This is me, and I am painting. It might not be anyone's proper way of painting, but this is how I go about it. I might not talk a lot, I might talk too much. We'll see. And I don't tend to use the biggest or best paints there are in the world. I get whatever I can, whatever colors I want to kind of mess around with. And I guess that's it. So we're going to go at it here a little bit. This is a winery that I had gone to a couple weeks ago. And it was a very neat place. Local to my area. I live in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. This was only 15-20 minutes away. I had never heard of the place before, and my wife's sister found it, I think, or my wife did, one of the two, I'm not sure. And they said, let's go check it out. So that's what we did. They had a pretty nice event that day we went. I'm just trying to figure out tones here. If I can, I'll post a picture of the place later, but this is me trying to figure this out. We'll see what happens here. A little darker in here. Don't like that color. Looks different on my palette than it does on the canvas. This is better. Usually I just block things out to begin with. I'm not going to sit there and try to fine tune anything right off the bat. It doesn't pay because things always change no matter what you try to do. Usually I have music playing, but I know YouTube doesn't like to get fined for playing music, and I don't need to be fined from YouTube for playing music in the background. If I would, I tend to listen to almost the same record all the time, over and over again. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but because I really like the album. But I know it annoys everybody else. But I tend to listen to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon because I find it very relaxing and easy to just coast on through. And it'll, if I put it on replay, it's cool. I don't have to change anything because the music, I always find something different in it that I love. That's, to me, the go-to LP for relaxation. And that's other things too. I'll play it if I'm reading even. It'll just be in the background really soft. Just soothing. A little darker here. And I am by far, I am no professional, believe me. I just do it, and when I'm done, I guess. Usually what I do is I paint, and if I throw my moniker on it at some point, that's it, I'm done. I won't go back into it. I figure that's the finishing point. Even if I see things that are wrong in it, which I always do, you could paint forever and never be satisfied. Or that's how I am anyway. But at some point you have to be done with it. I just did a picture of a dog. a dog that's chasing short people, really small people, kids basically, but tiny people. And initially I had done the dog where it was really friendly and cute, and it's like, that's not going to work. It has to be mean and nasty. So I redid it, and everybody online was complaining that I changed it, but that was my first true intent anyhow, was to have it be a mean dog and not fluffy old Fifi or anything. So if you hear me cussing here, that's okay. We're all adults. If you're kids, block your ears. But once in a while I will swear. It just happens. I am an adult, and that's part of my vocabulary. Now if you get me drinking, then it becomes a really big problem and a big part of my vocabulary. My wife has gone off to church, and I stayed back and thought I'd throw some debris on the paint, or on the canvas. So we'll see what happens here. I'm not promising anything. Painting is a challenge all around. Oh, that's not light enough. Told you, everything looks different on the palette than it does on the canvas. Still not right, kid. Okay. I hope your day was good. Mine was okay for the first part, and then it became uneventful after that because everything I tried to do backfired on me. So I kind of gave up on the whole working on wood projects after this morning. I got my 2 frames done that I needed to get done. One was on the dog, and the other one was on a submarine that I had painted some time back. We have a submarine moored in town here permanently, or semi-permanently anyway. Rumor has it they want to do some work to it, so I don't know if they're gonna let it float out of here or not. I haven't heard. Trying to get this lighter, and it keeps going back to that same dingy green color. I don't like that. Have to do some cleaning, I think. And I am using acrylic paints. I am not an oil painter as of this point. I've done it, but I don't feel I'm good enough at it. So I go back to my old haunts all the time. Alrighty. I don't know what I like better, is working light to dark or dark to light. I haven't found a happy medium on that yet. Trying to get different tones of different greens here, and never feel like I quite get what I want, but it just takes a little time to get used to working on this and figure it out eventually. It's a nice dark. I keep looking over here, that's because my picture's on my computer that I'm going off of. Beautiful vineyard there too. And I do believe they are now they're still pretty much in their infancy there, but they are allowing people to come in and have weddings and such there and different events. The day we went was kind of like a grand opening, I believe, but even though they've been open for a while. I'll put the name on later, and if you want to check out their venue, you may do so. Okay. Right now I'm only using one brush, just a big honker. And this is actually a solid panel, or semi-solid anyway. And it is covered with this is just it's a wood fiber or fiberboard panel, and then it's got a linen fabric over the top that's glued to it. And it seems to work pretty slick. Probably won't get real far tonight, but at least I'm getting back into the painting mood or mode. I had started this last weekend. I just got this section done and just little basic stuff done on the top and the bottom, but I'll be going back into this. And sky I'm not real thrilled with, but see what happens. I am no Bob Ross, believe me. I could never paint that fast. And I need to do a little bucking up on a few things. Like a knife. I don't like using them yet. I'm pretty crappy at it. Unless I need a straight line, then maybe I can do something, but I'll probably go back into this because I'm really not thrilled with the tones on that either. Time will tell. I get to where I want to be on this thing. But like I said, this is all going to be basic tones for now. And this is only show number 1 for me. I have been on here before, but it's just for arrowheads. I do go arrowhead hunting every year. I'm waiting for a proper time now because they are not quite ready to cultivate yet, but that will be in the next couple weeks. And then when they plow up the fields, then I will be back in the fields. And then I can maybe post some stuff if I find anything worthwhile. Usually I find a few. It's not like I'm out there every day trying to rape the land of stone or anything, which it's illegal to dig for them. and I only surface hunt anyway. And for some odd reason, I don't know what the deal is with this board, but this does not dry fast like a canvas does. For some odd reason, I don't know what the properties are of this, why they hold the water that much longer on this, but they do. And it's almost to the point where I feel like I'm almost doing watercolor paint on this board, but that is something I have to contend with. And it is very watered down paint right now, so that is another issue I have to try to figure out too. How can I get past this? Lots of water in here though, so I guess it is somewhat more of a water. Well, it's just a acrylic wash at this point. Don't get discouraged if you don't think you're doing well, because you just got to keep going at it over and over and over until you're happy with it. And that's the nice thing about acrylic. When it dries, you can paint right over the top of it. If it looks like shit, that's okay. Go back into it and it'll pan itself out eventually. I went to school for commercial art, and I don't know if you consider what I do fine art, but that's kind of where it's lent itself toward now. I was never a comic book artist or anything. I could do cartoons, but comic book artist, that's a whole different animal there. A guy that I had the pleasure of meeting a number of times when I was going to school in Madison, his name is Steve Rude, and he is phenomenal. He came up with the Nexus character back in the 80s, but I was lucky enough to have met him a number of times. Very nice guy. Check his stuff out sometime. He's really good. And he gets into the masters of pretty much comic books and everything else. I've seen him do different work. It's like, wow, just phenomenal stuff. I feel like a putz next to these people when they do their stuff. It's like, oh, I feel like I really, really, really suck. Comparatively. But then again, I feel like that when I see different artists doing different things. Your graffiti artist, I could never accomplish anything like that. A good friend of mine, Paul Lesh, I went to school with him, and he's phenomenal. He does some really cool stuff. And a lot of people that I went to school, I don't know where they are, I don't know what they're doing. I hope they're all doing well though. Just getting some basic shapes in here now, for where there's different purlins coming in to the main beams on the pergola on the back porch here. This is the back side of the building. I thought it was more interesting on this side than any other than if you look at the front side back on this end of it, there is a little gully here, and they had a band set up there. It was very nice. Cool place. I will visit again. I don't know when I'll get back at this because I know I'm going up north this weekend to a cottage. So when I get back to this, I get back to this. Taking a little reprieve. Although I've been reprieving all week. I've had off all week. Other projects going on. I have a bathroom that I have to get done. So we can dismantle our other bathroom and get going on that project. Fun, fun, fun. There is a lot of vine on this building. So all these little crazy green areas are vine or shrubbery of some sort or another. And living here in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, usually we're getting a little cooler by now, but it's been pretty warm out all week. And they said we were going to have a cool down. Well, it never cooled down. A little bit, but not significant. Uh-oh, sirens are flying. That's never good. And I can hear them getting brighter and bigger. There we go. Honk, honk. If they're going that way, that usually means they're heading back to the fire station. They're heading south, and the fire station is south. Maybe they're late for supper. I don't know if it's looking like anything or not yet, but I'm trying. Like I said, I tend not to, usually nobody's around when I paint, so I have nobody to talk to, so I usually don't talk, but with the camera going, I'm kind of forced into it. A little bit, anyway. I'm to the point where I can't do much more other than some of the bushes here because my paint is running over. My paint runneth over. Usually it's my mouth running over, but that's just me. That's how I am. Take it or leave it. I know I piss people off, but it's part of life too. When things get aggravating, I ramble. And there's a lot to get angry about lately. Our world is weird. But it always has been. Has it not? Nobody here to talk to. I don't feel like much of a painter right now because, like I said, I'm just blocking things in. But you're kind of stuck when your canvas of sorts is not cooperating with you. This is still wet. That's where I began before. So this may be a very short intro to me painting, but so be it. We just got back from Tennessee. Well, this is a number of weeks back already. Very nice time out there. Went to Gatlinburg for a wedding. And I found a lot of dispensaries out there. It was pretty nice. Wrong thing, isn't it? Dispensary. No, I'm... what the heck are they called? Wherever. They make moonshine. We went to every one we could possibly find. And the moonshine was quite delicious. And I have very little left. Which is either a good thing or a bad thing. Not quite sure. Been having a little bit of some health issues as of late, so I've been trying to lay off the liquor a bit. And I haven't really noticed any change, so I might start drinking a little more. Be it a good thing or a bad thing. Can't be bad if it tastes good, right? I always like drinking. I don't think I'm a very good drinker, though. A titmouse could drink me under the table. Smaller brush. Cheapo brush. These are cheapo brushes I'm using. I think that's going to be it for right now because I'm running out of patience and I've got a wet canvas. So it is 9/26 of 2024 and I salute you all. Good night.